This week on A Brit in Poland, I take you to the town of Baranów Sandomierski, which is located in the southeast of the country. It's a very small place, but it is home to a magnificent castle, one of the best or most beautiful, certainly, in Poland. So please join me on my journey as I tell you about the history of this location and give you some interesting facts. So I hope you find this particularly interesting and useful in case you plan to visit. So please stay tuned. Thank you for watching.
Dzień dobry and welcome to A Brit in Poland. This channel is going to bring you everything you need to know about Poland. I am exploring the country, bringing you the history, trying to tell you about the culture and show you what it is really like to live here. So feel free to check out my other media, Instagram, Facebook, and I will share links to those in the comments. I also have a website, www.britinpoland.com, where I collate my videos for easy to view manner. Also, you are welcome to contribute to my efforts through Patronite or Patreon, and all descriptions are available below the video. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and please come back for more by subscribing, liking, or commenting. Thank you very much. Do zobaczenia.
So, as I mentioned, the town of Baranów Sandomierski is located in the southeast, in the Podkarpacie region. And given it's got a significant castle, I get to cross another one off my list. I still have a lot to go, but I'm going to get through quite a few this year, so I'm gradually updating my map. So when you first get here, and I got here by bus from Sandomierz, you have the small square with the kind of bus station, and luckily it was a very warm and sunny day when I went in July. So it's actually quite a small place with a population of about 1,500, and it's more, I'd say, a place for tourists in terms of going to the castle. But there were some interesting buildings along the way. So we're just getting to the main square here, and this is particularly categorized by the town hall as well as a couple of cool monuments. And I loved the small kind of water fountain, which was very good at cooling off in the hot sun. So this is to commemorate the foundation of the city by Kazimierz the Great. And this is the lovely town hall. And this is a monument. And it is said that if you kiss your loved one under this monument, you will have love forever. There is actually a myth about a blacksmith and his daughter, but it was a bit decayed and a little hard to translate, but still lovely. So there is also quite a nice church, which is the parish church of the beheading of St. John the Baptist. And it's a Calvinist church. The current building was founded by Andrzej Leszczyński, in the years 1604 to 1607. It's a single nave brick and plastered temple, closed from the east by a narrow and lower chancel. At least that's what Google Translate is telling me. It was, just a small little bonus to see this place. And it has a, rather nice appearance, as well as a rather nice kind of church garden to it. I didn't go inside the garden, I didn't quite have the time, but certainly it was a very pleasant thing to walk past. So next we're going to head towards the castle, and actually your first glimpse of the castle you get from these fields here, and you can see it across the river. So it's like a slightly imposing structure on the landscape. We're going to talk more detail about the castle very shortly. However, before we dip to the castle, and we're just crossing the river here, which I think is the Vistula, but maybe mistaken because I think there's a second river that runs through. We are going to pop to this museum. Sadly, I didn't have time. This was a real rush visit. But this is a museum to theatre on the radio. And I just loved the building because the artwork on the outside was quite outstanding. And I wish I'd had another hour or so to spend here. So we're now going to head into the castle. So this is also a hotel, and there's a restaurant there as well. I didn't stay here. I was just here for literally about 3 hours, so I was kind of rushing around. But the castle itself is pretty impressive. It's known as the Pearl of the Renaissance, or Wawel Part 2, because it is kind of modelled on Wawel, apparently. I didn't quite see the similarities myself, but I'm sure it's there in the architecture somewhere. There is a lovely English-style garden surrounding it. You know something's good if it has an English-style garden. No offence to the French-style gardens that were mostly replaced in Poland. So it was nice to wander around here. There is a myth that apparently there is a ghostly black horse that can be seen running around the gardens at night, though I don't believe it has been seen for many years. To tell you a bit more about the history, so it is the seat of the Leszczynski family. I hopefully pronounced that right. The castle was built in the late 16th century on the site of a medieval defensive knight's manor. In 1867, the Baranów estate was put up for auction and purchased by Felix Dolansky. Then the castle was inherited by Stanislaw Dolansky, who decided to restore the building, which was destroyed by a fire in 1898. And there is actually a myth associated with that fire. And the myth is saying that the fire was caused by magic or the devil himself. There was a servant in the castle who took a fancy to one of the servants. The servant went to hang laundry in the attic while the other servant was bothering her. So she said to him angrily, "And here the devil brought you." At this, the servant is said to have clapped his hands, and the fire broke out. I always love these little myths. So to continue with the story of the castle. So under the supervision of Krakow architect Tadeusz Stryjewski, changes were made to the layout of the rooms. At that time, an Art Nouveau chapel was set up in the corner chamber on the ground floor. It was decorated with impressive stained glass windows by Józef Meerhofer and an altar with an exceptionally triptych by Jacek Malczewski entitled The Immaculate Mother of God. Before I continue, a couple of useful facts. So I went on a walking tour. I believe these are roughly every hour or so, and I just got there by the skin of my teeth. So the walking tour is quite essential if you want to see a lot of the interior elements of the castle. And it wasn't very expensive, but it was in Polish. Luckily, there was this couple from Canada, and the wife spoke Polish, so she translated a few bits and pieces. So we learnt about the pottery, for example, that you just saw, the ceramics that were made from a significant ceramic place in the area. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. If somebody would like to tell me in the comments, that would be useful. This is the chapel aforementioned. And let's talk a little bit more. So the castle is a three-storied building and was built on a rectangular plain. The interior of the castle is decorated by Jan Huszyszel, God, Polish is difficult, Falconi and Tilman van Gemeren. It has 4 round towers in the corners, a rectangular tower in the middle of the front wall, and an inner courtyard surrounded by beautiful 2-story cloisters. which are accessed by the famous fan-shaped staircase from the beginning of the 17th century, with a tunnel passage. These stairs have also served as a wonderful setting for weddings and family photos over the centuries, and has featured in a couple of famous films such as Czarne Chmury or Barbara Radziwiłłna. I really apologise for my pronunciation. So, after World War II, the castle was left in ruins once again. So in 1956, under an agreement between the then two ministries, the Ministry of Culture and Art and the chemical industry, a decision was made on the method of financing the reconstruction of the castle from state funds. In the years 1956 to 1957, a project for the reconstruction and conservation of the castle was developed by Professor Alfred Majewski. And the full implementation was entrusted to the management of the renovation of the castle on Wawel in Krakow. So, under the years 1959 to 68, the reconstruction went ahead, and thank God it was done, because it now looks lovely. So, these days, the owner of the castle and park complex has been transferred to the Industrial Development Agency SA, which is an interesting turn of events. So there are many legends. I've told you about the fire and the mysterious horse, but there is also said to be a white lady who wanders the halls, and there was a tale from a former butler about a headless and limbless torso walking around the gardens which he chased and disappeared. There was also a tower where it is said that two Krasicki brothers committed suicide by shooting themselves in the head. And there is a stain on the wall that never dries, and so it has been covered by a tapestry showing the battle of the Romans with the Carthaginians. So be prepared to perhaps witness some strange events in this castle. I personally didn't see anything when I was there, but during a hot sunny day, I'm sure the ghosts would rather have a bit of a sunbathe than hassle poor visitors. It is a truly beautiful place with a rich history, so I do recommend you make your way here. So thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this little snippet into Podkarpacie. Much more to come, and many more videos of Poland coming in the near future as well. Thank you for watching. Do zobaczenia.